Hey guys, this mid-game build, even in its early form, absolutely shreds Torment 4. You can easily push to level 250 and beyond with this one. I'm showing it as is, with my current gear and rolls. This will help you see what it's capable of once you get decent gear, tempering, and some solid masterworking. I don't even have all the seasonal buffs, and I don't have any seasonal gems in the rings. But the planner has everything, of course. Even so, farming Torment 4 is simple and smooth. New off here, let's get straight to the point. I'll explain every detail below in order. Nothing will be skipped. You can switch to this build after getting the Ophidian Iris Amulet, Serpentine Aspect, T-Bolt's Will, and Tal Rasha's Ring. This happens around the time you're comfortably farming Torment 1. Before that, use the starter version linked in the description. Skills. First 2 basic points can go anywhere, just filler nodes. 3 points in Devastation. Your maximum mana is increased by 3. Serpentine Aspect increases our damage by 3% per point of mana. 3 points in Elemental Dominance. Your core skills deal 12% increased damage when cast above 50 mana. Our Hydra counts as a core skill because of the unique amulet Ophidian Iris. 1 point in Flame Shield makes us immune for 2 seconds when cast. It also removes all crowd control effects. 1 point into Teleport with the upgrade nodes boosts our movement speed and gives us defense after teleporting. 3 points in Glass Cannon, which increases our damage and also the damage we take. Both effects are multiplicative. Then 1 point in Ice Armor, which gives a protective barrier and increases mana regen speed. 1 point each into 3 defensive nodes. Next, Hydra with its upgrade nodes. The new node gives us 50% crit damage multiplier and 20% Hydra crit chance. This makes the crit Hydra Sorc version deal much higher damage. Ice Blades. Until you have top tier gear, take the cooldown reduction node first, then the attack speed per blade. They trigger the Tal Rasha ring buff. 1 point in Familiar with its upgrades. Familiar significantly boost elemental damage. Lightning Spear should be taken with 1 point if you don't have Shako. It also helps trigger Tal Rasha's ring buff. 1 point into elite damage reduction and 3 into protection, which generates a barrier. Max out to Mana Shield and Primordial Binding. Primordial Binding buffs us heavily for each summon. Hydra, Spears, Familiars, and Ice Blades are summons, and there should be at least 10 total for max bonus. 2 points into Barrier Duration. Also max out Inner Flame and Devouring Blaze for more damage. Max out Permafrost as well. It works just by having a Frost skill on the bar, which is Ice Armor. 3 points in Icy Touch increase damage to vulnerable enemies. Inferno, Lightning Spear, and Ice Blades apply vulnerable. 3 point into cooldown reduction. 1 point into the ultimate with upgrades, and 3 into fire passives. The last one restores our health to max. Our key passive is Isu's Ferocity. The wording is confusing, but don't overthink it. You'll basically always have 40% crit chance and 75% crit damage. The only exception might be the Hydra's first hit on enemies. Gear. Until you get Shako, use Hail of Verglas. Remember, Ice Shard's stat and aspect are not needed. On Shako, the important greater affixes are Cooldown and Resource. Drop Harlequin Crest, Andariel and Duriel, and much more rarely from all other Uber bosses. Hail of Verglas drops from Grigua, Duriel, Beast in the Ice, and Urivar. Chest Armor. Before Paragon 250, use a regular legendary with Snow-Veiled Aspect. It makes us unstoppable when using Ice Armor, which pairs well with the Pants aspect. Tempering, Ice Armor duration, and Lucky Hit chance. Stats: Intelligence, Max Life, Mana per second, or Armor. After around Paragon 250, the best choice is Shroud of False Death with all stats, stars, and max life greater affixes. When switching to this chest, also switch Pants. Drop Shroud of False Death, mostly from Duriel and Andariel, much less often from Zir, Grigua, Varshan, Beast in the Ice. Pants before Paragon 250, T-Bolt's Will. They boost our main build stat, Mana. Other stats are useful too, as is the Aspect, which triggers from the Chest Armor aspect. Greater affixes help everything, especially Mana. Drop T-Bolt's Will, Beast in the Ice, Urivar, Harbinger, Duriel, and Andariel. Pants after 250 Paragon, Axial Conduit. Only mana and damage reduction matter here. Everything else is useless, so greater affix for resource is important. Drop Axial Conduit, Zir, Grigua, Urivar, Gloves with Flash Fire. Aspect give Hydra a ton of crit damage. Hydra is our only damage skill in this build, so we prioritize Pyromancy buffs in Tempering. Flash Fire Aspect only comes from salvaging legendary gear at the blacksmith. Stats. Ideally lucky hit for resource regen, then intelligence and crit damage. Max life and attack speed are also usable. Boots with aspect of the Orange Herald to reduce ultimate cooldown. The boots must have attacks reduce evades cooldown by 1.5 seconds affix for our teleport, which replaces evade via enchantment. Stats. Intelligence, mana per sec, max life. Mana per second can be swapped for armor or resists. Note, mana per second from boots and chest are not just flat values. All flat and multiplicative mana regen buffs apply to them. So unless you're pushing high tier pits where armor rolls matter more, don't ignore them. Staff with Serpentine aspect, which boosts Hydra damage multiplicatively per mana point, consuming all mana. All three greater affixes are preferred with intelligence as top priority. Masterworking for maximum Hydra heads. It's 12. Serpentine aspect is only from salvaging legendaries. Staff stats. Intelligence, max life, crit damage. Amulet, Ophidian Iris is the core of the build. All greater affixes matter, but Primordial Binding is the priority. Its aspect is brutal, giving 100% multiplicative damage per Hydra head while capping them at 3. Explanation. The skill gives Hydra 4 heads, the amulet adds 2 more, and 12 more come from tempering and max masterworking staff. So, 18 total. The amulet limits it to 3, boosting each removed head by 100% for a 1500% multiplicative total bonus. It also lets us skip Fireball in the enchantment slot because Hydra attacks cause explosions, and finishing off low health enemies is handled by seasonal power. The amulet also makes Hydra the core skill, increasing its damage scaling from Shako and Ring of Starless Skies. Drop Ophidian Iris, Duriel and Andariel. Classic Soak Ring, Talrash's. Greater affix priority, cooldown, ideally and non-physical damage. The aspect bonus should be 25% or close. The ring gives a 25% multiplicative damage bonus per element for 8 seconds. That becomes 75% if you cast all 3 elements at least once every 8 seconds. Drop Talrash's Iridescent Loop, Varshan, Beast in the Ice, Wurivar, Duriel. Second ring before Mythics. Legendary with tempering for pyromancy, attack speed and ultimate cooldown. Preferred stats: intelligence, critical damage, attack speed. Vulnerable damage and max life are also fine. Second ring after that, Ring of Starless Skies. Greater affix priority, core skill and attack speed. Lucky hit is desirable but not required. Crit chance is not needed at all, more on that later. This ring won't reduce mana cost in this build, but it will give 50% multiplicative damage. Note, weapon damage number means nothing. It's just a base value, only meaningful after flat damage buffs are applied. The final numbers, after applying crit multipliers and then many layers of multiplicative bonuses, can be insane when you see them popping over mobs. For example, the Ohm Rune increases all damage by 15%, not just part of the formula, because it's a multiplier. That's why looking at the damage in the character sheet doesn't really mean much. Paragon won't be broken down here. As usual, we're talking about multiplicative bonuses from legendary nodes on each board. Only one legendary node was buffed, the rest is unchanged. Glyphs weren't touched either, so we still have a limited pool. Crit version versus Doti version differs by one Paragon board, a couple of glyphs, and a dozen regular nodes. You'll see that in the planner. Keep in mind the crit version is clearly stronger. Enchantments are familiar, which autocasts familiars and teleport. This turns evade into teleport and keeps all its upgraded node bonuses. If you're killing uber bosses, switch teleport to Hydra in the second enchantment slot. Mana is restored by the rune word Igni plus Lum. Highlighting this combo alone is enough to regen full mana to cast Hydra roughly every 2 seconds. After draining mana, regen starts instantly. If 2 seconds is too slow for you, you can roll Lucky Hit on gloves for resource gain. No need to roll it on the staff. For fast-paced gameplay, this might matter later, after Paragon 250, but not now. Right now, cooldown isn't enough to spam Ice Blades and Lightning Spears, which along with Hydra will land those lucky hits. Nagu plus says summon wolves. Each wolf is a summon, boosting our Primordial Binding passive. Until we get Shako and max cooldown reduction, we can't summon all 10 summons in time. So these wolves distract mobs and buff us. Crit chance. Profile shows 13% from dexterity. Key passive 40%. Hydra passive node 20%. Paragon legendary node 15%. Paragon glyph 15%. Total 103%. Before you reach the 4th Paragon board with the crit glyph, you can temporarily roll crit chance on rings or gloves. Defense. Our intelligence gives us resistances. Use diamonds in rings until you get seasonal gems. Potion. Elixir of resourcefulness. Incenses. Spiral Morning. Song of the Mountain. Soothing Spices. Horadric Spellcraft. I already have the right infusion. Smoldering Ember. Catalyst is Cosmic Anomaly. Battle Wind gives an extra barrier, useful if you lack armor. Shifting Powder gives 70% movement speed, very useful until you upgrade your teleport cooldown. Crystal is just the only other option I have. Horadric File for leveling powers isn't an issue. I'll cover seasonal powers and gems in the next video. They're all in the planner linked in the description. The build works fine on T4, even without Horadric gems. Followers. Subo highlights enemies and boosts crit damage. Adkin provides extra defense. If gameplay feels too slow until you get good evade cooldown, you can use the Arcana Floaty Bauble. It basically teleports you to where Hydra is summoned, clears all debuffs, and makes you unhindered. Can be rotated with evade. So until all build details are worked out and we find the best combo of everything, it'll take another 2 weeks or so. There's still no fully optimized version yet. But that's fine. 99% of players just need to get to Paragon 250. The final version will be posted later in a separate planner tab. That's all for now. Glad to see you. Thanks. Bye.